This is Andy Purewal for ID Boxing, and I'm joined by Unified World Champion Alycia Baumgardner here in Phoenix. Alycia, how's life treating you?
Life is treating me so well. I'm so blessed. I'm just excited again to be here for fight night, fight week, and continue just being the best I can be.
A lot of fighters like to come to shows, some not so much if it's not got anything to do with them. What is it about coming to boxing events which particularly pleases yourself?
It allows me to step outside the ring and look at a fight as a fighter, right? As that perspective, what is he doing? Even when I'm commentating, I'm also making these reads on that as well. So it just puts me in a mind frame that I'm able to, you know, explain what's going on, what that fighter could be doing better, and it just makes me feel good.
Alycia, there's an unbelievable trilogy taking place here on Saturday night between Juan Francisco Estrada and Roman Gonzalez, or Chocolatito, as many call him. How does the trilogy bout play out?
Listen, we know with the other two fights, they were action packed, nonstop. And I think for this fight, it's going to be that. And it's going to really solidify those two fights. So each fighter I know is coming with the work.
They're coming with the work, but whose work will come out on top?
I got to give it to Chocolito.
Does it end inside the distance?
I think it goes a distance. I think it goes a distance, yeah.
Obviously, for your style as well, you are aggressive. You love to get involved as and where you can in the fight, not dismissing your boxing abilities as we saw in the Mikaela Mayer bout. But this must, in particular, kind of please you in terms of what you will see on Saturday night. Two legends in the ring throwing down.
I think it's just going to show the pedigree of the fight. It's going to show the pedigree of the fighters. And again, when you have a third fight like this, it really puts eyes on these type of fights because it's the third time. What are we going to do different? What are the changes going to look like?
Have you ever thought for your own career, Alicia, having some type of occasion, a momentous occasion at that, like this, where you could have maybe a trilogy bout with somebody in your career?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's definitely doable. There's many women out there that I would love to fight. Again, we've seen the fight with Mayer and I. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see that rematch. And to fight her again and beat her again would just be awesome.
She's an obvious name and she's continued to call for a rematch with yourself. She's been very vocal about it over social media. She's been vocal about the offer that could be given to you and sees herself being your highest payday potentially out there away from a Choi fight at that. What have been your thoughts on kind of how Michaela's handled things and her comments since you two shared the ring?
I mean, it's funny. It's comical. At this point, she is still a sore loser. It'd be different if the conversation was, you know what, I went back, I watched the fight. Alycia did win. I would love a rematch. My respect is I would give you that rematch. But because she is a sore loser, because she is salty, it doesn't, it just, there's entitlement there. And so I'm going to overlook you and make these other big fights with Katie Taylor, Chantelle Cameron, you know these fights are there's many fights out there for me to fight.
Alicia, you might disagree. Most people saw it as a close fight, whether it went to you or they thought Michaela won. It was a very entertaining but close fight at that. Does it frustrate you that maybe she hasn't been a bit more respectful in terms of what you two did on the night? And the occasion in itself, obviously an all-female card, and you delivered what was a fight which I don't think many will be forgetting anytime soon.
Yeah, I think there's some disrespect there. Did you say disrespect?
I feel like there's been a lack of respect.
Yeah, lack of respect. Absolutely. I would say, me coming on the scene and me, offering to fight Mayor, you know, on a Sky Sports card in, technically their backyard, that shows a lot of grit. That shows my character as a fighter, that I'm willing to go into someone's backyard and beat them. And that's exactly what I did.
Do you think you will cross paths again? We've just spoken about potentially trilogy bouts there. Do you think at some point you will share the ring once more?
Anything's possible in boxing.
Obviously, we look towards the future for yourself. I know that may not be at the top of your list, but with that in mind, Choi, what is happening there?
Yeah, so we're still in negotiations with her. I heard she will be at the WBA convention, which I plan to pop up at. And, we just have to wait. Sometimes you have to have patience in this game, and I'm understanding of that. And again, the undisputed fight will happen regardless if it's with Choi or not. I will be undisputed.
That's going to be my next question. Obviously, we saw that it was ordered for the pair of you to share a ring. Is it a surprise to you that she hasn't been more vocal? She hasn't said that she wants to have this one potentially once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, it has been very surprising as a champion who's been reigning champion for that long. I would think her job, her duty as a champion is to, hey, let's make this fight. I think this is great for women's boxing, for the 130 division to become undisputed and to have this fight for boxing.
Alycia, when I last spoke to you, we mentioned the name Katie Taylor, who's out in Abu Dhabi. Seems like she's edging ever closer to a fight with Amanda Serrano. But what would you rather? A fight with Katie Taylor next or a fight with Choi?
I mean, that's undisputed versus, yeah, that's tough because I like the fight with Katie Taylor. I believe the fight with Katie and I is huge. The caliber of the fighter that she is, the caliber of the fighter that I am, it will make for just a great boxing match. And we need that for the sport of boxing. We need to show the pedigree of the women who are at the top, the elite of the elite. So that's a great choice. But either one, I love to fight. So just put me in there.
I mean, if you were to face Choi and be successful, you could then make the argument if Katie was to defeat Amanda, if that ends up being the next bout, undisputed versus undisputed.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. I'm here to make history. Again, it's all about legacy with myself and the sport of boxing, and I want to make these fights. I think it's important.
You also mentioned Chantelle Cameron earlier on. We saw her become undisputed champion against Jessica McCaskill out in Abu Dhabi. What did you make of her win out of it?
You know, great fight. You know, Chantelle definitely proved that she was a better fighter that night, and you know, congrats to her. Every fighter wants to be undisputed, and her dream came true that night.
If you were to cross paths with her, talk about the weight front. Obviously, there's two weights between you currently. What would happen there? Do you think you'd have to be down at kind of in between at lightweight, but no titles on the line in that case?
You know, for me, I would say the weight wouldn't be an issue. You know, it comes down to skill and technique. It comes down to experience, and I'm a very well experienced fighter to take somebody on like Chantelle Cameron, regardless the weight.
Oh, so would you move up to 140? Would you jump up two weights for that fight?
135, 140, absolutely.
Well, Alycia, listen, this is about to get going, or not about to get going. There's other people waiting to speak to you, rather. So I appreciate your time. Enjoy Saturday, and thanks for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
Thank you so much.